religious affairs, I have in my mind the Islam is when you feel is that humanity thinks if you are as a human, then I call you a Muslim. Otherwise, I don't call you a Muslim. But that's my very personal views that time. After that, 1 year, 2 years, my chief editor gave me one more paper. Now you have to treat, now you have to go to that organizations who are declared militant groups. I was very scared that time. And even I'm scared in Canada right now also. But I will tell you later after maybe a few minutes why I'm scared here in Canada. That time, in Islamic movements or in Islam or in Pakistan, there is so many organizations they call Sipah. I want to tell you something. Sipah means the military, the group who have weapons. And there is not one Sipah, not one military, about religious groups. There is so many groups. They call Sipah, military. There is Sipah Sahaba. There is Sipah Muhammad. You can go to Google search and you can find that. I'm talking about that kind of groups. And they think and they have beliefs. If somebody didn't agree with us, he is a non-believer and we have right to kill him. I raised in that kind of atmosphere, that kind of groups, that kind of country, that kind of a city. And in my journalism, about 10 years, I've beaten up more than 20 times in Pakistan. So many times they threaten me, so many times they call me, but there is a few things I have to tell you in this city, Toronto, and this country, Canada. Why I'm here, why I applied for political asylum. I know, as a refugee, here is so many problems. I know, here in this country, if I want to call me as a refugee, you people have so many questions in your minds because refugee taking our tax, refugee taking our everything, refugee taking our everything, you know what I mean. But when I came here and I want to talk about past, before I arrived in Canada, I went to Pakistan's most wanted person, who is a terrorist. And I went there, I took photographs of that terrorist who was Pakistan's own terrorist. Now there are so many terrorists, but there is a list from United States. But that time, there is a terrorist, but that's listed from Pakistani list. And I went his home, I took pictures of his father, his mother, his sisters. And there's a very long story how that I reach his home, how I get that pictures, what I was said that time, little bit I was lying over there. But in my journalism, and I believe, and I want to say that because I don't have a very good speaking power like Justin, who is have his computer in front of him, and that's why little bit problems in my language also. But I want to say that I reached there, I published that news, I published that story, and after 24 hours, I was unconscious. On the road, I was in hospital. After 3 days, when I get little bit consciousness, and I asked to my mother, what's wrong? And you know what my mother said to me? You are asking me? You don't know? Why you're in hospital? And believe me or not, that time I don't know why I'm in hospital. Like all good for you in this country, but in Pakistan we call a different ways. And just not one incident with me. And I want to make it very, very short. I don't want to spend your most time. I don't want to arguments and talking about those incidents. But in 2002, I arrived in Canada as a refugee with my pregnant wife and 2 sons. And just before, when I arrived in Canada, 1 month ago, the people's attack on my home, they beat me up, my father, they beaten my mother, they do what they want that time, and they took my 2.5-month kid, his name is Ali. They took him up, and so many times in front of me, they put him on the floor very badly. Before that, I have beliefs. I don't want to go from my country, from my city, but when they beat me up also. But they beaten my 2 months son. I was decided I have to go somewhere else from this country. Sorry about this, but really I'm not a hypocrite. That's why I left my country. And that's why I'm here in this country. I arrived here as a political refugee, and after that I mentioned that everything, and I want to live as a very peaceful citizen, but there is something wrong maybe in my mind, behind my mind. If I'm here without my mother, without my father, without my family, sisters and brothers, I think that Canada is a very good country for people who want to vote, who want to raise their voice very truthfully. I have experience here also about religious organizations. But in April, I heard that, I read on internet one story about religious leaders. A leader, I wrote a column about that, and he claimed he can write down any name, but particularly that news